Morning, everybody. Josh here, Solopreneur Grind, SG Daily. It is Wednesday, March 27th. And if you're watching on YouTube, I know what you're thinking. Why is there so much going on in the background here? Because usually I sit in front of a blank wall with not much going on. Not that there's much going on behind me now, but the lighting's just not good. And as poor as my production skills are, I figured at the very least I can move to somewhere that has good lighting. So anyway, with that being said, day is off to a good start. I posted on Instagram, I think about a week ago, what my morning routine was, and someone commented suggesting adding in a cold shower. And I started 2 days ago because I've heard more than once that a cold shower is good for you in many ways, good way to start the day. I threw in a really quick, short cold shower, probably about 45 seconds to a minute, half of which is me slowly inching my way under the water because it's horrible. But it feels really good after. I'll say you do come out feeling kind of invigorated and energized. So I think I'm going to stick with it for a little bit. This is not extreme cold. I'm talking like the first level of cold on the meter, going from hot to cold. So inching my way in, I like the effects so far, and it's quick. And it kind of makes you feel nice and fresh and energized. So highly recommend that. If you didn't see SG Daily number 25, the one from yesterday, I highly recommend just taking a peek because I go into a little bit more detail about myself, which I'm not very good at doing. Most of my content is just kind of about business. And so I wanted to give you a little bit more info about me and the business situation that I'm in so that all of this content makes even more sense. So that's SG Daily number 25 with the admin stuff out of the way. Wanted to talk a little bit about what I call doubling down or what, related to the 80-20 rule, because I'm trying to do it right now with SG. So I talk a lot about the law firm. My law firm's going well, cruising along, no complaints, but I'm trying to continue to grow Solopreneur Grind as well. And what I've found's really worked in the last 2-3 weeks is doubling down on what works. So we all know the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of your actions create 80% of your output, or 20% of your activities leads to 80% of revenue, or 20% of your clients lead to 80% of revenue, or complaints, or it can be applied in so many ways. What I think a lot of people miss is that step one is recognizing that it exists. The more important part is step two, which is what the heck do you do about it? Because if you recognize that 20% of your customers, for example, are leading to 80% of your revenue, or conversely, you realize that 20% of your customers are leading to 80% of your complaints or returns or headaches or stresses, then that's great information. If you act on it, if you just say, oh, that's how it is, I'm just going to continue what I'm doing, then you're not going to get very far, or there's no point in doing it in the first place because you're not using the information to do anything, to take any positive action. Excuse me for the sip. And so what I've done in Solopreneur Grind over the last 5 to 6 months since I've started it is try a whole bunch of stuff, right? At this point, it's more of a passion project. I love doing it. It's not a for-profit business in the sense that, and I put quotations there for those listening, it's not a for-profit business in the sense that I have products and services I'm selling right now. I will eventually, but for right now, it's a passion project. And so I'm using it to learn and learn digital marketing, try different content, platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, podcasting, et cetera, et cetera. Now, after a certain amount of time, you realize that if you're trying everything, you're not going to get too successful in any of them. And the other thing is you realize which ones work better. So in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've really doubled down on a few platforms, and you probably know at least one of them because if you're listening to this. So the 3 of them that have worked really well for me, and I do want a quick caveat in saying that this is for me and my business and my personality, right? So your business and your situation and your personality could be very different. For me, I've realized that what really has been working and what I enjoy, so I think you're looking for the crosshairs between what works and what you enjoy. Because like for example, I haven't even tried Pinterest, but let's say I did try Pinterest and it started working. I can't do that. Like I don't have a design bone in my body. If you look on my Instagram page, for the first 80% of it, the design is horrible. Like I'll be the first one to admit it. It's crap quality, and I finally decided to start outsourcing some of the design because I don't have it in me. And the other thing is, it would take me twice as long to do half as good of a job. So if I can pay someone $20 an hour, let's say, to make Instagram posts for me that look really good, it would take me, like, let's say it takes them half an hour to do a nice post. It would take me an hour. And then the opportunity cost is that I just spent an hour of my time on that. And I could have been, for example, billing a client out at 5 times that price, let's say, on my law firm. So I think I spoke about that in another episode, time prioritizing and opportunity costs. But in this case, you do your 80-20 and then you take action. So in my case, I double down on podcasting because A, I love it. B, I think it adds a lot of value. And C, it's showing results. Results being the stats, the number of listens, the number of likes and stuff like that. So really enjoying the podcast. That's not going to go anywhere. Number 2, YouTube. I really like the YouTube lives. I like how it's easy to set up. It's easy to view. It's easy to post. It's easy to edit. Am I getting thousands of viewers yet? Heck no. You might be able to see how many viewers I'm getting. But I like the platform. It feels comfortable. I like the video format. So I'm going to stick to that for the time being. And then the third one, I guess I have 4, which is probably too many. But the third one is in my email list. That's kind of like my baby, my pride and joy. The email list will always be there. If you're not on it, solopreneurgrind.com/join. And I send 3 emails a week, just like I'm doing with the SG Daily, adding some quality content to your life. And I really like emails, email marketing. I love the platform and I love the written word. And 4th is Instagram. The reason why I say it's 4th is because I think it's a really good platform and I like my account on it, but I don't really connect with it as well, just because, like I mentioned, I don't really have that design side of me. I'm more of a talker, a speaker, a writer, and I'm not a designer. So I've recognized that as a weakness and I've outsourced the design of my Instagram photos. You might notice the last few have actually looked nice. And you might have thought, what the heck's happening to this Josh guy? He used to have horrible design and now it's like half decent. Well, it's the magical thing called outsourcing. And if you don't do it, if you're at a certain level and you're not outsourcing some things, I think you should definitely look into it. If you're making a certain amount of money when you first start out, if you have money in the bank, by all means, you could start by outsourcing. Usually it's best to start out, by yourself and figuring it all out from the ground. But hey, if you have money in the bank, if you have another side income and you want to reinvest into a different business, by all means, that's what I'm doing. So one more sip here. This episode went longer than expected, but it's a topic I really enjoy. And so I'll leave you with this. Try a bunch of stuff, do what you like, and then double down on what works. So I'm doubling down on the podcast, on which entails the SG Daily, because I can do it all together, right? So if you're watching right now, I'll give you away a big secret. If you're watching me now on YouTube, I'm taking the video in obviously through my laptop and a microphone plugged into my laptop. These stupid headphones that I'm wearing, again, if you're listening on the podcast, you won't be able to see this, but I'm wearing headphones that are recording the podcast at the same time. So I might do another episode, maybe I'll do this tomorrow, discussing how to create content and be able to distribute it in as many forms and on as many platforms in as little time as possible. But the point of this episode was figure out what works and then double down on it. Spreading yourself too thin, posting everywhere is going to, unless you have someone that you can pay to do it, is going to take a lot of time and effort, and it's going to be hard to be as genuine, following up, commenting, on people and followers. If you pick 2 to 3 and go really hard on them, even 1 or 2 if you want, especially at the start, go all in and I think you'll see better results. 80-20 rule, but apply it. Anyway, that's it for today. Like I mentioned, if you like my stuff, join the email list, because not only am I giving other business insight, but that's where I'm sending you reminders and stuff. When I send out a good daily vlog or something, I'll link to it in the email. So it just kind of keeps you up to date. And when new stuff comes out, you'll be the first one to hear about it. So that's it for today. Sorry for the longer than normal ramble, but I kind of like it. It's kind of hard just to talk for 5 minutes and go in depth on a business idea and principle, especially because I like to give examples. So I might start lengthening these to like the 7 to 10 minute mark. Let me know your thoughts. Josh@solopreneurgrind.com. Would love to hear your feedback, even if it's a one-liner, even if it's a two-worder. Love the stuff, or too long or too short or whatever. Anyways, thanks for listening, and I will see you tomorrow.